And a lot of what's going on online is that President Trump keeps on saying Cuba's going to be next. He's just waiting for Iran to be over, and then there's going to be a takeover, either economically, it's going to be something more military action. There are also reports that they might try to do an indictment on Raul Castro, who's 94 years old, still leaving the current president in place. Now, do I necessarily agree that there should be international arrest warrants? I do not. I do not believe, because in the same way, Putin tried to make an international arrest warrant for Zelensky, and who's going to enforce it except the biggest superpower? A lot of people could not enforce it. Also, there was always an international arrest warrant on Putin that no one actually followed through with. It's always just been political talk, political intimidation, if you will, because for the longest time, Obama and Biden also had the Ayatollah on that list of indicted people, and they wanted to go out and arrest him. Now, the only way that you can really arrest a dictator is to do what Trump did in Iran, which is like guns and fury, just going in after Iran at all sides. So, militarily, Cuba doesn't have a leg to stand on. They say they have 1 million troops and reserve soldiers. And from someone who's personally been there, that is not the case, because the police officers don't even have weapons. There's no militia, there's no anything. So it's really just a scare tactic. Not to mention our military being in the millions could easily overthrow the island. But what would they do? If they actually have an arrest warrant for Raul Castro and they go after him like that, there's still a line of secession. So anyone could take over his place and the communistic regime will stay in place. So what they're really looking at is for the Cuban government economically to give sanctions and to release the control of private businesses. And the private businesses that do exist only exist on the street. The government controls healthcare, control hotels, they control transportation. For instance, the fuel shortage, they don't have enough fuel to bring tourists to other parts of the country. The tourist buses are locked down. People still going 13, 14 hours without electricity. That means they cannot cook. They cannot even watch the news. And the only time that they can get the news is through updates like this. So it's very important to know that the decisions that are being made, and when he says he's going to send Marco Rubio down there, the only thing that I can see take place by the words that Donald Trump is using is that it's going to be more of a U.S. territory situation, because he was saying he wants Cubans to go back to Cuba, not to stay because we need them. They're good people, but to visit. So the only way that exiled Cubans can go back to Cuba is if it's a United States territory, and the United States territory would be open for Americans to go visa-free back and forth. So that's what we really need to be looking at. Visa-free entry for Americans to come and go. I think that that's what Trump is hitting at. It would not be necessarily a state, but it could be also a government that allows an economic development kind of situation where they relinquish control over fuel and they allow the US dollar. As of right now, you can't use the US dollar. So all eyes are on Cuba, and it's getting so much mainstream press that everyone, MSNBC, CNN is posting about it. This is the year of the dictator decline, and Donald Trump has gone after Venezuela, Iran, now Cuba. It's going to be dictator bingo. Cuba's next. I'm hoping that everyone who sees this can share, because I think the word needs to get out. As mainstream media continues to cover Cuba, we need to be aware that there are people suffering there, and the sooner everything goes back to normal for those people, we can all be a happier world, really. So we'll see you guys on the next one, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.